Yeah, March 1st is our opening day. We've been closed for 2 months, taking some time to train our staff. Our staff goes under a lot of training in this 2 months, and also we get to kind of clean and reorganize both of the historic houses. So at Ferry Farm and here at Historic Kenmore, you get to see some different scenarios. We're changing over from our holiday winter scenarios into our more springtime scenarios. So we have different table settings, different arrangements of all the furniture, so things are always changing. And Saturday is our opening day, so we reopen on March 1st for regular tours, both at Ferry Farm and Historic Kenmore. We have some special things going on this weekend for opening weekend, just to kind of celebrate the big reopening day. So Saturday we will be at Ferry Farm. We have a couple different things going on. It'll be our Living History Day. So we have a cooper coming from the Jamestown Cooperage, Marshall Sheets, and he is helping us recreate some barrels and things for our new reconstructed cellar house. So he is going to be trussing a barrel and doing some demonstrations for us. And that is a really cool process to watch him do. He is a pro in his trade, and he is creating different sized barrels for us. So you'll get to kind of get an inside look on what it takes to recreate the cellar house in some of our work buildings and what we're putting in those buildings. And we'll also have a 4-H homesteading group from Stafford County that's going to be doing some textile work. So they're going to have interactive activities and be doing some fun little interactive demonstrations of carding wool, spinning, and also weaving. So you'll get to see kind of all those different textile demonstrations. And they're also going to be doing some block printing. And those kids have been working really hard to work on those demonstrations. And you guys get to kind of interact with them as well. And we'll also have a fire in the Washington House, which kind of adds a sensory element to your experience as you go through the house. So all of that is included with general admission, whether you're doing just the grounds or you're doing a Washington House tour. You'll get to see everything that's going on there at Ferry Farm. It kind of gives you a perspective on the trades and some of the things that not only tradespeople in Fredericksburg would have been doing, but some of the enslaved workers at Ferry Farm. Doing things with wool was very common, doing some of the production of textiles, and also trussing barrels and cooperage. A lot of people had their own enslaved cooper, especially on a big plantation like here at Kenmore. That was a very common thing to have. So you get an idea of what the tradespeople of the time were doing. So Sunday we're going to be over here at Historic Kenmore. You're welcome to tour the house. We have house tours all day from 12 to 5. And then also I will be in the historic kitchen doing a cooking demonstration. This is our Taste Through Time program specifically made for our opening weekend. And this theme is bread talk. So we're going to be talking all about the importance of bread in colonial America. It was a huge portion of calories intaken by the colonists, especially if you were lower class. So bread was a super important thing in colonial America. You'll learn all about the kind of process that it took to make bread and all the steps that you had to go through, because it is a multi-step process and it required you to know a lot about the kind of science behind bread. Even though the science wasn't really known, they just knew that they had to have something to raise their bread, and they just kind of knew how to do it. So it's a really interesting topic with a lot of cool kind of science that goes behind it, so I love talking about it. It takes a lot of work, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of fuel to be able to bake bread, so you have to have really good coals, especially if you're going to bake in your bread oven, which we do have at Historic Kenmore. So usually when an enslaved person was baking bread for a plantation like Kenmore, they would make a lot of bread at a time. So they would have huge, what they would call dough troughs, and they would make all this dough at one time, and it would last them several days or a week, so they weren't making multiple loaves of bread or one loaf of bread every day, because it did take a lot of time and a lot of fuel to be able to fuel those ovens. So out in our historic kitchen, you really have to know your fire. The cooks in in colonial America, especially the enslaved cooks, really had to know what they were doing with the fire. There's no temperature gauge like we have on our normal ovens nowadays. So they basically just had to know how to control their fire, how to control the level of heat by feel, by sight, by just the way that the fire was acting. So it was definitely a very careful balance. And you see a lot of house fires in this time. So fire is definitely a danger, but it's definitely something that's necessary for heat and for cooking. And you just really had to know your fire. It's a living being, and you just have to know how to fuel it and to utilize it to the best of your ability.